All right, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. UFC 259.
Big card.
It's going to be probably the best card of the year.
I'd say so.
First fight of the night, we got Trevin Jones, 5-star Trevin Jones in his last 5 fights, 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. And then Mario Batista, 4 wins and a loss, 2 wins in a row in his last 5. He is the 235 moderate favorite in this fight, and he's got some crazy good striking compared to Trevin Jones, I would think.
Probably. Yeah, Trevin Jones seems to have the more rounded game, but as of yet, he's still unproven. He's made his debut, and he lost that via no contest, but really it was a one-sided fight on Valiev's side until late in that second round. He took the foot off the gas for a little bit and got caught, and that was it. And unfortunately for Trevin Jones, that was turned into no contest for smoking weed, I think, which you hate to see it.
And in Trevin Jones' path to victory here is going to be on the ground. And Miles Johns is a wrestler, and you see what Batista did to him.
Yeah.
Flying knee.
Oh, yeah, Batista loves that flying knee. He tried it like 4 times in that fight, and he can time it with that takedown. And if guys are level changing, it's real dangerous.
Yeah, I think as long as Batista can hold his conditioning, he's going to probably finish the fight. I'd be surprised if it goes to a decision, but it could. But I think Batista wins this fight by KO.
Yeah, and probably Trevin Jones, if he were to win this fight, would probably be inside the distance too. I like that. But yeah, Mario Batista, he seems very aware where he's at, where his opponent is at in the cage. And he listens to his corner, and he takes the advice and actually goes with it. His only loss was in his UFC debut to Corey Sandhagen, where, ironically, he got caught with a flying knee, hurt, brought to the ground, and Corey Sandhagen just drowned him with a couple of submission attempts. But it's worth noting that Batista did make it out of a lot of those. It was just a combination of getting hit with that knee and getting choked on the ground. He's currently on a 2-fight winning streak. Last one was that flying knee KO over Miles Jones. And yeah, man, it's a tough ride for Trevin Jones. 2 fights in the UFC. Really, he should be 1-0, but he's 0-1, and they're going from Timur Valiev to Mario Batista. That's a rough opening to his UFC career, don't you think?
Yeah, I think the fight could be a lot closer than we were thinking it's going to be, but the under or by KO, I think, is the way to play it.
Trevin Jones has also never been knocked out, which
Yeah.
is worth noting. So, I mean, I think this definitely could be the time. I think Batista's got, like, the patience and the instinct to kill once he hurts you. So, I think it could be the first time that Trevin Jones gets finished by knockout.
Yeah. All right. Both on Batista. Now we're on to Medic versus Cruz. And Medic, we have this rule about not betting with Alaskan fighters.
Alaskan prospects. I don't touch him.
What was that last guy's name? Carlos Minus.
He's
garbage.
Awful.
But they say Medic is the truth. He's 6-0. He's the blindest 175 favorite. And he's fighting Cruz, who likes to keep the distance and use leg kicks and high kicks to the head with his feet. Doesn't throw a lot of hands, a lot of kicks.
Yeah, I did notice that watching him fight. It's almost all kicks, keeping the range. He can do that pretty decently. But it's just wild. This is a freak show matchup at a lightweight. These guys are both over 6 feet tall. Cruz coming in with a 78-inch reach, which he accentuates by using a lot of those kicks. He goes high, he goes low, he goes to the body with those kicks. His record again?
Cruz?
Yeah.
He's 8-3.
8-3. Well, his last loss was coming. I think
Carlo.
it might have been the only one in the UFC, and that was Spike Carlisle, who you were big on.
Yeah.
I liked him coming up, but he definitely.
No
I don't know.
conditioning.
It was one of those that he brought the energy. To
No
that
conditioning.
Fight. Yeah, he brought the energy to that fight. He really didn't give him any space, but I mean, I don't know how much you can take from that. But yeah, that happened really early in the fight, and I don't think that he definitely has to worry about that in this fight too. I mean, saying what we said about Alaskan prospects. Medic looks like the real deal. This guy's huge. He throws power body kicks that really hurt people.
He's been training with Darnoush too, so that training with Darnoush, you're doing something right.
King's MMA.
He's a killer. So I mean, I think Medic's gonna go out here and get the finish. I have him in my lineup as a finish.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens if this fight goes beyond. I think he's only been less than a minute to a second round of a fight. So it's going to be really interesting to see if this fight makes it into the third. Maybe Cruz's little bit of experience there could be a factor, because 5 of those 6 victories for Medic are pretty pretty much cans. That one guy on the Contender Series, it was a bad stylistic matchup, and Eros made it look really easy, knocking him out inside the distance. So I think the guy's unproven, but I am going to pick him in this fight.
Yeah, if Cruz comes out with any form of wrestling, he could make it a problem.
Expose him a little bit, but yeah.
He's not known for wrestling, so I'm on Medic. Now we got the gangster Olivia Souza versus Amanda Lemos. And from watching the face-offs and the weigh-in, I think that Lemos looks like she's a little sucked out because she's coming down 2 weight classes to fight here. And Souza's the type of fighter that's going to bring the pressure. In the last 5, they're both... Well, no, she has a draw. So Souza's 4-1 in her last 5, and Lemos is 3-1 in a draw.
Yeah, Lemos definitely the fighter that wants to keep it standing in this one. Souza, you could compare to like a Neat Diaz, kind of like she's not winging all her power and all her shots. She's trying to just put stuff out there, trying to close the distance, and eventually drag you down to the ground where she's dangerous everywhere. She is immediately attacking the submissions as soon as they hit the ground. It's not that she's green on the feet. I think she's just throwing intentionally throwing less power just so she can save it. But like I said, once it hits the ground, it's bad. And
her loss is to Van Buren, who is no slouch. Van Buren's...
Yeah, she has good competition all the way through Invicta and the UFC, and she's finished 10 of her 16 fights. So I think that's a pretty good ratio when it comes to women's MMA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great stylistic matchup. I think it's a person who wants to keep standing versus somebody who wants to get to the ground, make it a grappling match.
And at Las Vegas is a smaller cage that benefits Souza.
Yeah, it's definitely a risky pick here, but I'm going with Souza. I think she still might be an underdog too.
Yeah, she's an underdog.
Plus 200?
Plus 200.
I might take a look at that one, actually.
I'm on Souza either way. I have her in my lineup, so.
I like that.
Souza by decision. That's what I'm going to go with.
What we got next?
You already know. Best fighter on the card. Sean Brady versus Jake Matthews. And the back tattoo says it all. That's all you got to do is look at Sean Brady one time. You already know he's the best fighter on the card. That's my favorite fighter. So
undefeated prospect coming out of Philly. You gotta love it.
He's coming out of Philly. Yeah, that's good for us. PA represent.
Oh, yeah.
So Sean Brady. The story of this fight is he's just better than Jake Matthews everywhere. Jake Matthews is a good wrestler. Sean Brady's better. Sean Brady's really good at jiu-jitsu, black belt. His striking's good, and he's very, very strong. And he cuts a lot of weight, but it's water weight. I think he comes down.
He seems healthy in there.
Yeah.
He definitely does.
He's definitely gonna be jacked as shit in this fight.
Both these guys they're very similar stylistically to each other. It's just that if you could rewrite Jake Matthews' career and like put him in good positions and set him up and have his career restart and the way he wanted to, that would be Sean Brady.
And he's still young.
It's a condensed career. He obviously doesn't have the as much experience. Jake Matthews has been in the UFC forever, but he kind of got stuck in that forever prospect range because of how early he was put in the UFC. So, I mean, it's tough, but I do think that Sean Brady probably is a little bit better at each and every facet of the game. And with the hype behind him, wanting to keep that O, I think that this is a setup fight for him, but I think it'll probably be his toughest test to date.
Yeah, I don't think that a lot of people who are in the UFC, like, I think the casual fans don't know much about Sean Brady, to be honest. I think only people that watch UFC know who Sean Brady is. And
I'd go further and say that we don't even know, that not many people know much about Sean Brady.
Yeah,
there's still a lot to prove.
He's still not a refined talent. Like, nobody knows, really.
Yeah, just on the negative side, so we can kind of even it out a little bit. I do notice that Sean Brady is more willing than other people to take a shot to give one, which, I mean, could affect him later in his career. I don't really think it's a key factor in this fight, just because Jake Matthews doesn't really have that one punch knockout power. Jake Matthews may be a little, more on his P's and Q's on the feet. I think strategically he might be able to, but I think that the pressure from Brady is going to get up against the fence. And once they start grappling, I think he'll be able to get the advantage in position. And probably, I'm thinking it's going to be a decision here. He could shock me, and I think that'd be the best thing for his ceiling. But what do you think? Where do you see it?
Jake Matthews is 0-1 outside of Australia, first of all.
0-1.
0-1 outside of Australia.
So all his fights?
Yes.
That's like 15 UFC fights? They're
yes.
all taking place in Australia?
Yes. Second of all, he's gonna get submitted or KO'd in this fight. That's the bet: submission or KO. Sean Brady has been on record saying that he wants to finish in this fight, so he's pushing.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
He's
I mean,
pushing
you always
for the-
go out looking for the finish, but I think it would do Sean Brady wonders. This isn't gonna put him on everybody's map, but being such a big card,
He's
it's
going for the
definitely
finish.
opened some eyes about who Sean Brady is.
That's the other thing too. A big card. He wants to finish.
I
get his
think
name
so.
out.
Yeah, I think a lot of the good guys coming up see that, and it pushes them to do better on the card.
So we're both on Brady. I got him by sub or KO. That's a good prop. Carlos Olberg versus Kennedy, and I'm not gonna even try to butcher that guy's name, but Njukwe, Nzakwe, whatever. Carlos is another guy from City Kickboxing, and on the embedded version, Izzy said he's gonna be the next lightweight champion. I don't know what that. I don't know anything about this guy yet. I haven't really.
All those guys over at City Kickboxing have a lot of confidence behind this guy.
Yeah, he's 3-0. Kennedy's really not that great. That one, he hurt the guy in that one fight and told the ref, like, my bad, and then didn't finish the guy.
Right. He's had questionable ring IQ. I think that's yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about Kennedy. I just not really hype on the guy, and I don't really know much about Carlos too much, but he's training with City Kickboxing, so he's in a good room, and they're high on him.
They say the dude throws the hardest kicks in the whole gym, and you can definitely tell that he's there to be hit, but it's almost like I mean, Izzy does the same thing. They do it at City Kickboxing. It looks like they want you to hit him because they do. They want you to rush in there. This guy is real green in his career. There's not much to take away from it. But the way he did win his Dana White Contender Series fight definitely put eyes on him. And being from City Kickboxing, that's also going to put eyes on this guy. So I think it's a show, another showcase, another thing where the UFC is
Stepping out.
putting a guy out there to build a name.
The Kennedy's long, tall. Those leg kicks could play a factor. They've been playing a factor every fight week.
Right. Yeah.
Leg kicks could be the key.
Yeah, I think if it is a straight kickboxing match, though, Carlos Holberg will run away with it. And Jackway does have he's still green himself in his career, but he does have a little bit more experience in there. He's been on the ground with Paul Craig. It didn't go well for him, but that was in the third round. So, I mean, to have that kind of grappling experience, that could definitely be a route to victory for him in this fight.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't see it. I'm going to go with Carlos based on he trains with City Kickboxing. He's a good striker. And the leg kicks might be the factor in this fight.
Yeah, I think they know something we don't. The odds makers here, I think a lot of people are keeping Carlos Holberg a secret up until this fight. I think we're going to see something crazy out of him this weekend.
Yeah, so I'm on Carlos Holberg and probably by finish.
Yeah, I'd say that one probably ends inside the distance.
Now we got Tim Elliott versus Jordan Espinosa, and these two dudes in the face-off getting right each other's face. And Jordan Espinosa trained with James Krause and no longer trains with James Krause. And Tim Elliott and his wife both train with James Krause. And Tim Elliott and Jordan Espinosa both have wrestling credentials. And Espinosa likes to fight behind the jab. But I don't think you can fight behind the jab stepping backwards. And that's going to be a
And
big...
you're definitely going to be stepping backwards against Tim Elliott.
That's
I've been
gonna be
watching
big.
this guy for a long time.
Yeah.
I watched the Ultimate Fighter that he won. That was where they took a bunch of guys that were top level from other promotions, and the winner got a title shot against the champ then, Demetrius Johnson. And that was in the middle of Demetrius Johnson's crazy run. And Elliott was actually able to catch him a guillotine that almost ended the fight. This dude is just so awkward that he really makes everybody second guess. And look at the skill level he's fought.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a 3-loss skid right there. And, I mean, Davison Figueiredo, Askarov on the card later, and Brian Royval, who we all know, just recently lost to
what's his name? He just fought Figueiredo in the
yeah, Brandon Moreno. Yeah, so, I mean, those are 3 guys that are in the top 10, if not 5.
Yeah.
And Espinosa's coming in, fancies himself a jiu-jitsu guy who was submitted in 2 of his last 3 losses. So, I mean, tells you something right there. Those were 2 okay. Right there, okay, people, Alex Perez
And Elliott said it on record, too, for the media days, that he plans on submitting Espinosa.
Oh, it's possible.
So, I mean, if he gets his back, it could be over fast. And I have a feeling that leg kicks is going to play a big part in this one as well, honestly.
On which side there?
For Elliott, I think he's going to throw. I think that's what we'll see.
He doesn't throw with power though to really hurt the guy. It's more like he's throwing with the intentions of like having it scramble and end up like turn into a dogfight, turn into a scramble and end up on the ground.
Yeah.
Because he does have his submissions and stuff on the ground, and like the way he gets into them are just as awkward as how he sets up his hands. And it really is it's tricky because he submits you from weird positions where you're not expecting to defend a choke.
And to show how tricky this fight is, the odds are near even. So I mean, even Vegas is like, yeah, fuck it, we don't know who's gonna win this fight.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I like Elliott a lot in this one.
I like the pressure on Elliott, and I like his ability to finish the fight. So I'm gonna go with Elliott. I might even put him by sub. I'm not sure yet on that one. So now we got Kai Kara France and Rogerio Bontorin. I guess is how you say his name. Kai Kara France. I'm pretty high on City Kickboxing as a team, but just not really high on Kai Kara France. He's just not really what he lives up to be, and he's said he's going all out for this fight. He's fighting somebody who gets hit a lot, but if it goes to the ground for any bit of time, this fight could be over.
That's trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, in his last fight, Kai Kara France came out in a banger against Brandon Royval. That fight lasted
48 seconds.
48 seconds into the second round, and it was a fight of the night. So that just tells you right now that there's fireworks going on there. When it was on the feet, it was very competitive. But yeah, like you said, Kai Kara France just gives off a vibe, man. And I mean, he's definitely good on the feet. He's more of a punching heavy style than a lot of his City Kickboxing counterparts. But the dude can get it done on the feet. He can win decisions that way. He can knock you out. But is his game well enough rounded to beat somebody like Rogerio Bontorin? This guy's got some knockout ones, but mainly he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. So it's going to come down to the wrestling in this one.
I'm not betting on this one just because I can't trust Kai Kara France, but I really do think he's going to finish this guy in this fight. And I think he has to. I mean, he can't go out here and lose to this guy because if he loses to Rogerio, then where do you fight? Who do you go after next?
Yeah, no, he's definitely... he's fighting it. He's kind of always been there, fighting to keep himself in that top echelon. Because we watched him his fights with Moreno in the Ultimate Fighter. He was part of that Ultimate Fighter where that was the best of the best. Half those guys are in the top 10 now. So he's definitely proven that he can fight there. But this dude might just be a gatekeeper. But are they giving him this fight again? Like I said on a bunch of the other ones on here, is this a Showtime fight? Is this a guy with a good record that Kai Kara France has a clear method of victory to beating City Kickboxing and potentially go 3-0 on the night?
Yeah.
It's something worth noting. It's too hard to tell. I think, like I said, it's going to come down to the wrestling. And Rogerio Bontorin's last loss was in his last fight to Ray Borg. Ray Borg scrambled. But I think that's what this fight could come down to. And if Bontorin can never get to the ground, his inability to scramble, then that's going to be a tough night for him. So I think it really is a hard one to pick. I'm not going to put any money on it, but
it could be a really sketchy fight if it goes past round one.
I told myself I wasn't going to bet I wasn't going to take Kai Kara France, but I think I'll take him on this one.
I'm taking Kai Kara France.
I think I'm taking Kai Kara. It's probably the least confident pick on the card, honestly.
All right, Joseph Benavidez versus Askar Askarov. And this one here, my view on this one is wait till after the first round if you're going to bet. I think a live bet is the way to go on this one. Just to see how Askar Askarov comes out. Because he could come out here and win round one pretty decisively. He can try to wrestle, but I don't think his wrestling is going to be as effective against Benavidez.
Well, he's trained at Team Alpha Male forever, and what do they do there?
Yeah.
Those guys fucking wrestle.
But Benavidez mentally, where is he at too? Is because he's.
Well, he talked about that openly, saying how he had to really do some soul searching and figure out where he's at after.
He's been finished twice.
He's 0-4 in title competitions, so he's one of those guys. When everybody asks who one of the best fighters are that haven't won a belt, one of the names that is always in there is Faber. And Faber is somebody that just Benavidez has trained close to his whole career. It seems like the guy's got everything he needs to be a championship level fighter, and he is. But just those dotting your I's and crossing your T's, it's just not there for Benavidez. And he's been caught with hands, he's been caught in submissions. he can always make it a fight, but he seems to, when he gets you hurt, chase you down almost to his detriment. And I don't know if he'll have that opportunity in this fight against Askarov, being undefeated. A really guy that is really, really good at using his striking to set up his wrestling, which is fantastic. I just think the pressure from Askarov is going to be too much. I think there's going to be a lot of scrambles that Benavidez is going to come out on the losing side of. And I think Askarov is going to win the positional battle in a lot of those scramble positions. And I think he's going to take it by decision.
Yeah, I think Askarov is one of those new age, like Umar Nurmagomedov's, like one of
the lower weight class, which we haven't seen yet.
Those Russian guys, yeah.
You can say what you want. I mean, you got Curtis Blades, you got Usman, like those guys. Those are guys that are established. Askarov is, I mean, flyweight's killing it.
Yeah.
People wanted that division gone a couple of years ago, less than a year ago, and I've always enjoyed watching it. And I think it's only getting better. And Askarov is the cream of the crop when it comes to prospects at 125. He's 13-0. You almost can't call him a prospect, especially if he wins this one.
Yeah, I think Askarov wins this fight, but definitely going to be a sketchy fight for him.
I think Benavidez is tough enough to go the distance, and I think that may even be a mental victory for the guy after what he's been through.
Yeah, I think he needs to retire.
Yeah.
All right. Kyler Phillips and Yadong Song. And this is my pick for fight of the night.
I think it has the potential.
Kyler Phillips, I don't know what it is about him. He just has like a certain aroma around him. I don't know. Like he just looks confident, ready to fight. But Yadong,
he fights that way too.
Yeah, Yadong Song, he's the one that he lived in a concentration camp of MMA. So he's definitely
Yadong Song is committed.
Yeah, he's ready.
I think he made his UFC debut around 20 years old, maybe 21.
He's 23 now.
Well, when he finished on the in his UFC debut, I believe he was the youngest fighter on the card, or in the promotion. And this guy has since then fought in great competition. Yadong Song's been up against. He went to a draw with Cody Stamann, which really, and being a striker, I think that says a lot, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, we know how good a wrestler Cody Stamann is, but he's one of those guys like Khabib who he comes in with a game plan. You know what he's going to do already before he even shows up. And I think that it's impressive to be a power striker, like a power and kind of volume striker like Yadong Song is, and precision guy, to have the wrestling defense and to make that a draw.
The thing is, I think on this fight, Kyler Phillips doesn't really have anybody on his resume right now. Like,
no, this would be the biggest name by far, and Yadong Song is still a prospect in his own right.
Yeah, and Yadong Song beat Marlon Vera.
Yeah, that was a close fight. It could have gone either way. I mean, Marlon Vera kind of dismantled Yadong Song's primary weapons in that fight. Kind of made him work for it. But the fact that Yadong Song was looking for ways to get around that, and he kept working the whole fight, really won him the decision in my eyes.
I think I'm going to go on the side of Phillips in this fight just because I like confidence. And this fight's too hard to pick just by, like, people, like, by their talents. It's too hard to pick because you don't know where Phillips is because he hasn't really fought in anybody on his resume. And Yadong Song is still a prospect and young. So I think he had a lot of room to learn, even with a loss. Mm-hmm. And I think Kyler Phillips, just certain confidence about him. I like him in this fight.
And he moves really well, Kyler Phillips. He switches stance really well, too. And I think that's going to be his bread and butter on the feet. I think as a technical striker, he's at a pretty bad disadvantage.
Yeah.
I think Yadong Song finds the quickest point from A to B, and he lets you come to him, and he really knows how to throw those straights down the pipe. I think he could catch Phillips with something like that, but Phillips' main method of victory is really to show that he's a better overall MMA fighter and initiate those takedowns, which he's really good at. Most of his knockouts are on the ground. So when it comes to the feet, if somebody's going to knock the other person down, it's going to be Yadong Song. I think Kyler Phillips got shot there, but I just think he might be a little wild. And you say that about oozing confidence and stuff, but how much does that matter with the, like, culturally? When you're fighting a guy from China and you're like absurdly confident, you know what I mean? There, like how much does that really affect those guys? Like in America, I think it probably affects the guys that they're looking around social media and
I don't
that
think
kind of stuff.
I don't think of it like that though. I don't think like Phillips is gonna make Yadong Song scared. I'm just saying I think Phillips has got a lot of self belief.
Right.
And I think that could transition into his fight.
Yeah. Yeah, this is almost like those fights that the UFC don't like to put on, but the fans love because they're prospect versus prospect, and you don't want to see one guy take a big hit, and when it's on a big card like this, and so many people are watching, somebody's stock's gonna rise and somebody's gonna fall. I like Dog's song in this fight, just based on his what I've seen out of him, and just how crisp he is on the feet, and that he can go 15 minutes. I'm not sold yet on Kyler Phillips, but I'm gonna wait and see.
Yeah, I'm on Kyler Phillips. I like him in the matchup. Dominick Cruz versus Kenney.
Ooh.
This is one that you're gonna sway me on. I don't know if I like it, but I just feel like leg kicks have been such a big factor in all these UFC fights, and Kenney throws mean legs, but your Dominick Cruz has a lot of experience.
Dude, I got in MMA watching Dominick Cruz. I remember being a wrestler back in the day, wrestling at 135, and I was watching UFC for the first time, and it was the biggest rivalry in the sport was Faber versus Dominick Cruz. And I started out going into UFC as a Uriah Faber fan, and slowly after the build-up of their second fight, I really wanted Cruz to win. When he took that belt, he asserted dominance over the division, and he's shown you that ring rust isn't a thing. You hear this guy commentating, and that's my counter to your leg kick argument, is that if you don't think that he sees that coming, this guy wrote the book on telling everybody what's going on in the octagon. I mean,
I see that.
He sees what's going on out here, and I think that he picked Kenney out of a lineup to show that he's still there, and that he sees definite things that he can exploit in his game.
Yeah, I feel like there's just too much for Kenney that can go wrong, because thinking about it, like, remember when he talked about Megan Anderson? Well, it just so happens they're on the same card, and now if he loses, he's
Did
gonna.
they not know that when that video dropped?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I'm saying it's gonna be funny because he'll lose this fight, and then they talk shit about him and be like, "You shouldn't worry about."
Yeah.
I can see that as a storyline. I'm saying.
I mean, there's the same thing on Dominick Cruz's side with Keith Peterson.
Yeah, but I think if Dominick Cruz didn't look good in the face-off and weigh-ins, I wouldn't pick him. But the fact that he looks like he's really committed.
Dude, this guy's been fighting for years. He was a WEC champ. Or, actually, not. I don't know if he was a WEC champ. He lost to Faber in that one. But the fact that he's been so good and so dominant at where he's at, and that you've never seen him look this good on the scale, is astonishing to me. This guy has to be behind closed doors. Like, he's doing all the commentating, and he's kind of like the Tony Romo of MMA commentating, where, like, he breaks it down to, like, where if you were just a casual fan, you wouldn't understand what the fuck Dominick Cruz is saying. This dude is really breaking stuff down, and I just think that kind of knowledge combined with Kenney's unprovenness and the fact that his last fight with Nathaniel Wood, who I'm a big fan of Nathaniel Wood, I think he's a real good fighter, but I think Kenney lost that fight, and I think that we saw him tire out in a 3-round fight. That is where this big question mark comes for this fight for me. We've seen Dominick Cruz fight. He's a decision machine. This dude's footwork he wrote the book for football. He gets out of the way of punches. He can hit you, and he wins decisions that way. We've seen it time and time again. This guy hasn't fought in the 3-round fights in 2014. How are you going to condense a 5-round fight style like he has into a 3-round fight? And on the other side, Kenney, I mean, he hasn't proven himself in my eyes, and he started to fade at the end of that second round, maybe even first. But he was in there with Nathaniel Wood, and he kept it going. He might have lost the 3rd round in that, and the 2nd round was really, really close. But it's, you know what I'm saying? One guy's coming from the top. He's always fought 5-rounders.
Yeah.
The other guy's getting tired in early rounds. Who has fit their style to match this 3-round fight best? I think this is a great prelim finale. I think this fight is fantastic. It could headline a fight night, honestly. I've been a big Dominick Cruz fan as long as I've been an MMA fan. I think the guy's mentality, his preparation, the way he talks about ring rust, and has proven it wrong time and time again. I think a lot of people give him trash for the Cejudo fight, but I think he was doing pretty well in that fight. I don't disagree with the stoppage, but I think he was doing pretty well for that fight. And I think
Cejudo's good.
Cejudo's, yeah. I mean, you could not like the guy. He's fucking good. But I just think coming from that level of experience, that this is just a really big jump up, and it would take somebody special for me to pick them against Dominick Cruz.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Cruz as well. You swayed me in his way, but I would not be surprised if the kicks affect the fight, and I see Casey Kane win the fight.
I just think the footwork will be his answer there.
Yeah.
Casey Kane, I don't know if he's going to go for a takedown.
But
I just really don't see a method of victory for Casey Kane, a clear method of victory. I think it could be a dog fight. I think that might be something to look into. But, dude, Dominick Cruz is so intellectually sound with the fight game.
Yeah.
Fight IQ is through the charts. So, yeah, I can't pick against him there. I mean, he's old, and he hasn't fought in a long time, and he came back and lost his last fight. That's about the bad you can talk about him. So
I'll be rooting for him. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
On to the next one, we got Thiago Santos versus Alexander Rakic. And you want to talk about an athletic light heavyweight.
Maybe the most explosive fight on the card.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
We don't look like we're getting this version of Santos.
Yeah,
how you're doing.
Santos looks older, and he's 37 years old now. And a little bit of inside MMA, I think that he was a little too focused on his wife's. I think she's married. Is he married?
Yeah, I think so. You said that last time.
Yeah, I think that he's a little more focused on her fight and less focused on his fight, and you're just going to be in shape. But I don't
think he's ingrained in the game.
Yeah.
I think he understands it. I think he's trying to be parts of, manage, help game plan for other people.
I think
But
he's
I
going to get
really
focused up.
he survived that Jon Jones fight. He made it great and everything. Blew out both his knees. How much time do you think that fight took off his life?
Oh, yeah, he's not the same.
That fight took years off this guy's life. He doesn't look the same in there. He, against Glover Teixeira, you can't take anything away from Glover Teixeira. He's one of the most experienced guys at light heavyweight. He's busted his chops. He's taken his losses, and he deserved that win big time. And he did it great. But I just think that, Jon Jones, something happened in that fight. It was almost like you have like a career gas tank.
He lost his knee.
Like not a fight gas tank, but like a career gas tank. And he was at like 75% when that fight started, and he just threw everything he physically had into that. And on the other side, we got Rakic, who has done nothing but impress. This dude is a physical specimen. You can feel his presence in the ring. Like the head kick knockout of Manawa is just stunning. I mean, Santos has his own knockout over the same guy, which says what. But both these guys are exciting strikers. But when it comes to it, Rakic isn't afraid to make the style more boring. He's not just out there to throw hands uncontrollably. His output is wild, and he will get into those kind of fights. But he's not afraid to take you down and make that. And I think that's going to be a big difference in this fight.
Yeah, I think Rakic, first of all, is just going to be way too fast. And Santos' only way of victory is going to be catching him. I don't see any other way. And Rakic's good on the ground as well. So, it's not like Santos has another way of victory. So,
I just think the advantages that Santos usually has over his opponents,
he don't have
like the speed and the power and the not the movement per se, but like the stalking, being able to put back the guy up. I just think Rakic does all that a little bit better.
He might hit harder than Rakic, but
the speed and precision, though, I think that Rakic will get there first. I don't think that Santos is going to have an opportunity to land that big shot.
I think it's just too old.
Yeah, I'm taking Rakic in that one. I'm actually probably thinking this one is going to be the one that ends in the first round.
Yeah, it's probably going to get knocked out.
Yeah, I like Rakic in the first round. It's almost too sweet to be true, but I like the guy. I think he's an exciting prospect. And I think him versus Yuri Prochnow would be
wild,
fucking insane. I think that is what every MMA fan needs, and I think that this is going to get us there.
All right. Now we got Khabib 2.0 versus Drew Dober. Islam Makhachev, and everybody says that Islam Makhachev gives Khabib the work in the wrestling room. So
you hear this guy talk, Islam Makhachev? He talks like his soul died,
like a robot.
Like there's nothing in there.
Yeah.
Like it's just he was programmed to do this.
Drew Dober, poor Drew Dober.
Yeah, the other side, you got a likable dude. He's likable enough. He changed that elevation of Gaethje, Blades, all those guys. The guy's got cardio. He can bang. But I think his recent knockouts have given people like a different look on him. I do think he's more strategic than people give him credit for. But where he has struggled in his later fights, not so much as his past couple, is the takedown defense. And when you're up against somebody like Islam Makhachev, what you have to look at is that takedown defense, and I don't care if your takedown defense has been perfect in your last two fights. If it wasn't before that, he's gonna exploit that shit. And once you hit the ground, you already know that Islam Makhachev is gonna be 3, 4, 5 steps ahead of him in every position.
You gotta know, Islam Makhachev had wrist control before he was even born. This motherfucker
He was controlling the umbilical cord.
This motherfucker is gonna grab him and it's over. That's all I can tell you. And he might not finish it, but he's gonna win the decision for sure.
The dude averages almost 3.5 takedowns per 15 minutes, that's a lot. That's a decent amount. This guy's landed 68% of those, which those are good numbers. This guy is gonna shoot a takedown, doesn't get it, he's gonna shoot it again.
Yeah.
And once it hits the ground, I mean, it's worth noting he has been knocked out in the UFC, and that's not even the knock on this guy. He was knocked out in his second UFC fight by Andrade Martins. It's a nobody, so it's crazy to think about that, but everybody can get caught. But you have to think Drew Dober's just like watching that fight in his mind over and over and over again, leading up to this fight. This
isn't no Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis. This is gonna be
no. I mean, it could be.
Nah.
I mean, it could be. That's the argument for Drew Dober. And I mean, I don't have anything against Drew Dober, and I haven't honestly. I mean, I've seen good stuff out of Makhachev, but I'm not sold on him yet. But I do think that the stylistic matchup favors him way too much to pick the other way.
Yeah, I'm on Islam Makhachev. I don't have a prop, but I'm on Islam Makhachev.
A lot of people give him shit though for his inconsistency too. So I mean, make it to the fight, man.
Yeah, pulls out a lot.
Now this is my fight.
Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling. And I have a feeling we're going to disagree on this one.
So maybe something we won't disagree on is 135 pounds the most competitive division right now. I think a lot of people would say lightweight, but with the belt being held up the way it is,
yeah,
would a year from now, or 2 years, 3 years down the line, predict who the champ is, I think this would be the hardest division because all these guys are so close. But what we have here are two guys that have beat the best of the best at that weight class.
And I will say this. If Peter Yan wins this fight, I don't see him losing this title for a while.
Yeah, I think I could say that about either one of these guys, honestly. I think, like I said before, that they've beaten the best of the best at the weight class. I think that, I don't know what excites me more about this fight, the stylistic matchup, or the fact that it's a guy that won his belt deservingly and has put on performances time and time again in Peter Yan, versus Aljamain Sterling, who I'm a huge fan of, and he's taken his L and he's come back and put on, I mean, one of the most impressive streaks you can put on. Brett Johns, Cody Stamann, Jimmy Rivera, Pedro Munoz, Corey Sandhagen, and that Corey Sandhagen one just really stamping it down
fast
with a, I don't know, would you call it a perfect performance? I mean, it's pretty damn close.
I think he caught Corey Sandhagen, but yeah, it was a
pretty
good performance.
damn close. I think that this fight is the most deserving title fight we've seen in a long time. I think a lot of the promotion leads into a lot of people bitch about it because they don't know how the rankings work. They don't, like everybody says that because we see crazy stuff happen in the rankings, but the UFC wants to make money, so it is really. I think it's really rare now when we get 1 versus 2 in the world.
Yeah.
And I think that really is what we have here. And I think we have a guy in Peter Yan who's strict kickboxing, guy from Tiger Muay Thai.
Physique.
Phenomenal. He doesn't do all the flashy shit, though. He's just he makes the basic strikes look flashy. And on the other side, you got Aljamain Sterling, who's awkward movement and timing on the feet, which was really put on display against Pedro Munoz. Was it's flow state. It's a flow state, and that awkwardness I think makes up for Aljamain Sterling's laps on the feet. I think he's probably a little maybe step behind Peter Yan on the feet as far as just technically, but this guy was roommates with Jon Jones in college for wrestling. That's all he does. Fantastic grappler. The wrestling to get it there. And the ability to snatch up a leg, a neck, an arm. He's finished fights by few left stretch. that beautiful rear naked over Corey Sandhagen, you are not safe in any position for any amount of time on the ground with Aljamain Sterling.
It helps him too that he trains with Benavidez, whatever you say his name.
Rob, yeah,
hell of a wrestler.
They're probably the other best wrestler in the division.
Hell of a wrestler.
I mean, Aljamain has come out and said for months what his plan is in this fight. He's going to take him down. He's going to make Pirion miss on the feet, and he's going to take him down, and he's going to make it an ugly fight. Will he get the submission? Who knows? But Aljamain Sterling's part of the team out there on Long Island. I'm big on everybody from Long Island. I got family out there. I like it. But I like to look at this fight. The line's moved here, but I think he still is a moderate underdog at this point. Who are the other guys that come out of his camp?
He's a +1 or 2. He has...
Who's his coach? Matt Serra. What did he do?
Yeah,
he knocked out GSP.
Yeah, but
who else is on that team? Chris Weidman? What did he do? Did he knock out Anderson?
Who went to Khabib 5 rounds?
Those guys are used to shocking the world.
Alaquinta.
Yeah, Alaquinta. Yeah, exactly. These guys are used to shocking the world.
But this is exactly what's going to happen. He might get the fight to the ground in a round or two, but he does not have the cardio advantage in this fight. I can tell you that. Second of all, I don't think he's going to get the fight to the ground as easily as you think he is, and he's going to get pieced up on the feet later in the fight. And I think Pirion wins the fight because that's all Pirion does is win fights. That's how I see this fight going.
I am hard on Aljamain Sterling here. It might be more of a heart pick than a mind pick, but even my mind is telling me that this is the most competitive fight of the night. I think that these guys are two guys at their peak, and we're really going to find out a lot about one of these guys, maybe both of them. I think it has the potential to be a fantastic fight. I think it's gonna go the distance.
If it goes the distance, Pirion wins the fight.
I think Aljamain's going to be able to control it, man. I think the wrestling's a different level.
The wrestling's definitely a different level.
And the wrestling's a different level, and I think that on the feet, he's going to be awkward enough to not get caught into a firefight, and I just think he's going to be able to avoid those big shots and not have. He's going to be able to disguise his disadvantage on the feet with his awkwardness, I believe.
Definitely going to be a tight fight. I'm on Jan.
I'm on Aljamain Sterling all day.
And this one here, I can't believe I'm going to say it. But I cannot tell you why I'm on this. I cannot give you an explanation or a reason. I'm just going to tell you I'm on Megan Anderson. That's all I can tell you. Yeah. Every MMA GOAT loses. Megan Anderson's pulling it off this week. And you heard it here first. I told you. She trains with James Krause. James Krause is a fucking man. And that's it.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you why it's not going to happen. And it's not just because it's Amanda Nunes on the other side here.
Shit.
It's the Amanda Nunes of late that we've seen. I mean, you said it yourself, every champ loses. But more than that, I see a lot of champs slow down when they get that, greatness attached to their name.
Yeah.
Not slow down as much as just change their game plan to win decisions and not leave themselves open to lose their status as one of the greatest out there. You don't want to lose that. But what we've seen her do is kind of transition into using the grappling more. She's she's got everything. Amanda Nunes can knock you out of the feet, obviously. And she can wrestle on the ground, too. She can go anywhere with it. And what she did to Felicia Spencer is the biggest tell in this fight. Megan Anderson was choked unconscious in under 2 minutes by Felicia Spencer. And that stat right there just speaks to me that Amanda Nunes really can do whatever she wants in this fight. I mean, I saw a video of Megan Anderson talking about how that she says that Amanda Nunes is a great hammer, but not a good nail.
There you go.
But
look at that.
What makes you think she's the one that's gonna be able to push against her?
I
think that we've been talking about reach a lot in fights lately. It's come up as a key point in a lot of fights.
Yeah.
People don't use it well at all. It's so you never see it. You just really don't see these people using the long reach perfectly anymore. And I think Amanda Nunes is gonna put the fight to her and not give her any space to use those head kicks, which are really her only weapon.
If there was one fight on this entire card that we didn't need to break down, it would be this fight because Amanda Nunes could probably beat a lot of guys that play in the UFC.
Yeah.
But
you can say it about every fight, but this one, I mean, you say Megan Anderson's going to win. I say Nunes is going to win. Obviously, one's more likely to happen than the other. But it's a toss-up. Somebody's got to pick Megan Anderson. I'm not mad at you for it.
Hey, shit's going to happen. I'm right. Watch tomorrow night.
We don't got the picks ready to be making these kind of picks.
Megan Anderson's going to get this shit. All right.
Main event.
The main event of the night.
That's a good one.
You already know who I'm gonna pick, but we got Jon Blachowicz, whatever the fuck his last name is, and Israel.
Jan Blachowicz.
Yeah, whatever. Did you see his little bracelet that he has on embedded? He has like little tiger wolves or whatever.
Dude, it's funny because Jan Blachowicz is a likable ass dude. The press conference did him dirty. Nobody asking him a question, and then the one question they asked him was about Izzy's weight. Like, dude, come on, this guy's great. The language barrier isn't even that bad. This guy's hilarious, and the way he pulls himself off, he's wearing jean shorts in the octagon. He's a dad now. He definitely gives off that vibe. But other than that, this dude has a video of some of the most terrifying shit, motivational, I guess you could call it. But I guess he found someone hanging in the woods that he ripped off the rope and he carries it around for good luck. And since he's been fucking shit up. So, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that logic. It's a little crazy. But, I mean, to be in this position, you got to be a little crazy.
I mean, he definitely is going to be the bigger guy in the cage. And Adesanya, you've seen how he was against Yoel Romero. And if Yoel Romero scares you, John's going to scare the shit out of you, too. He's just as big. And he's going to hit just as hard, maybe even harder, questionably harder. And you've seen Reyes, his body after getting kicked by him. It was black and blue, dude.
That dude can land with power. The thing about Jan is, dude, I love it. I mean, both these guys are counterpunchers. We've talked about it a lot since this fight was.
Could be a boring ass
fight. It could be a boring fight, but I don't find those fights super boring as other people do. But Jan Blachowicz, I mean, they're both going to be looking for that counter shot. Nobody's going to want to pull the trigger. I think Jan Blachowicz is way more likely, for better or worse, to say if it's a fight like Yoel Romero fight was, and nobody's pulling the trigger. I think Jan Blachowicz, for better or worse, comes out and throws that punch.
He's marching. Yeah, he's gonna march.
I think he takes the chance at the giant shot that could put Izzy down, but just as easy could be countered and put you down.
The thing is, I think Izzy's just got such a speed advantage in this fight that could be a problem for Jan. And
I agree.
After a while, it's just gonna add up. It's gonna be kind of like the Cater fight where
the fight goes on. Yeah. I see that happening.
Yeah, but I mean, I can just as easily see Jan taking the fucking head off, right, like that. But I mean, I don't know.
I think the smartest thing. I think this is gonna be a complete MMA fight. I think we're gonna see maybe not as great a fight as Izzy against the Gastelum was, but I think it's kind of similar, except that Jan's just a bigger, different breed, but he's still good at everything. So I think the smartest game plan from Jan Blachowicz would be come out and win his first couple rounds with grappling.
Try
with it. Maybe not the whole game plan, but if you win a couple rounds on that and you save the gas in the end and for the championship rounds.
Not even wrestling though, like just clinch,
right? Grab. Close the distance.
Take away the most important thing of it.
Yeah.
But
Usman him. Yeah. Save your energy. And that's I think where it comes down to.
Do you think Izzy lets it happen is the question?
I could see it happening, but I could see Izzy still having that speed advantage late in the fight.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that speed advantage is going to be a huge difference. Izzy's been playing mind games this week. There was a lot of things. I mean, the face off where he called him out for having a cut on his eye didn't seem to bother Jan. Jan seems to be dealing with this stuff well. The fact that he wore a puffy coat when they were first went in against each other or facing off against each other. And to disguise if he was smaller or maybe he wasn't. And then there was the stuff about a week ago. He was saying that he was going to weigh in at 193 and then came in at 201. So I mean, I don't know. He's doing a lot of things, but he does seem aware of what Jan's good at, and I think that's important. I think a smart person is aware of what their opponent's good at. They don't just talk shit on this guy to make it them seem better. I think Izzy's a good representation of taking your opponent seriously, and I don't like to pick him here, but I usually like to take the underdogs in situations like this. But I like Izzy's speed. I think he's gonna get it done.
Yeah, I'm with Adesanya. I like Adesanya. I'm on his side. I can't see him losing.
Especially if he can get Jan to bite on those feints. I think he can really exploit that speed advantage and make it even wider.
Yeah. I think Adesanya tags him up a lot and stays out of the wrestling clinches. I think Adesanya wins. Maybe even finishes him. I don't know. We'll see.
Champ.
Yeah, champ. Make sure you guys check in for our picks tomorrow. James will have them posted, and we'll put up some of the bets that we like for the card.
All right. Peace out.
See you.